Okay. What up, y'all? Welcome to So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese.
Love it. Welcome to the day. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. So we are two real life cousins, and you know, we told somebody about the name of the podcast.
Yes.
And so the person was like, well, what's your podcast? So Kalani was like, so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese? And they were like, oh, so things that just don't make sense.
Things that don't make sense.
Okay, let's deal with that first. We do put syrup on our grilled cheese. We have done it our entire life. And if you have never tried it, hush your mouth.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Hush. Because it's good. And you know what? It's so weird. It's weird. They're weird.
Right.
It's weird because y'all be acting like y'all don't be having charcuterie boards.
And you putting pineapple on your pizza. Everybody has opinions about it.
But it's the thing.
It's the thing.
So
don't until you try.
So we just want to clear that up. But anyway, so we get on here and we talk about things that we thought were normal in our family. And, we thought everybody did these things, such as put syrup on their grilled cheese. And then we learned that was just us.
Right.
So there are a lot of things that happened in our families that was actually dysfunctional. So we get on here and we talk about that. And we bring some humor.
We do. Because why would you not want to laugh about something? It gets funnier once the farther removed.
This is true. Because I be telling stories and people be like,
what are you talking about? Are you okay? And I'm like, that's
so that's when we finding out that stuff is trauma, like in the middle of the situation. So anyway, so my name is Kim. What up? I usually have a fancy intro, like Kim, Berlin, Thailand, House of Jackson, O'Neill, and Adams. There's a story behind that. And I do a lot of things, but the most important thing that I'm doing right now is I am recovering from burnout.
Amen.
So I am frolicking around Colombia and redesigning my life and being very intentional about every single thing that I do in a way I never have before. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Hola. I am Kalonda, House of Jackson. I don't know if I remember it, but I feel like it was assistant to entrepreneurs, beacon of banter, something with a C, dancer of dreams, and excellence enchantress. You got to do this part. That part makes it. And never forget a NOLA native. 5 All right. What am I doing? I'm a recently relocated person. I know some people say expat. We'll probably get into that one of these days, the difference between expat and immigrant, which is what we really are. Expat just sounds cute and packaged nicely, but anyway. From New Orleans to Medellín, I am definitely on a journey of finding myself. What does it look like as someone who is now just saying, hey, I am 45. Who is Kalanda? Once you have to get those questions out there and taking that time to really find out what that is and what you like and what brings you joy. Really looking for an opportunity to build a community around me that loves on me, loves me out loud, that I can give all that I have to them as well. So.
Amen, sister. So, announcements, right? First off, I'm glad I can see myself in this camera. Last show, I was like, Kalana looking out snatched in the corner, and I was like, so now we got some new technology, okay? Y'all look over here being podcast.
That's for stay tuned. Every week is going
We're just surprised
on location.
Right. Yeah. So we have some announcements, right? The first thing that we want to talk about is our emojis. And also let me actually pause here because usually things will be popping up on the screen right about now, right? But also we both over here and the computer's over there and over there. And so we need a producer. Okay. So let me start with that announcement first. Let me start with that announcement. Hey, y'all, we need some help. Okay, so we are looking for the following types of people, all right? Primarily ages 18 through 25, but it can be someone who is more seasoned as well as on special circumstances, 14 through 17-year-olds, all right? Okay, but we need editor, producer, graphic designer, comment moderator, social media coaches, virtual assistants, website designers, and sound engineers. Okay, so if any of these things you're like, oh my God, I'll be doing it, and you're in a place where you are looking to build your resume, you're in a place where you want to be a life coach, where we can do some bartering, holla at us. Okay, at mindingmyblack-ass-business@gmail.com. All right, because that's for all our special effects. Like we can't do that, and it is so correct. So we need help. All right, so that's the first thing. So what I was finishing is we have emojis, right? And the whole point of having emojis is like to build community and show community, and for people to be like, girl, I know you. I be seeing you over there on some you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese, this, right? But also, let me tell you the story behind emojis for real. So I didn't mention this, but I'll say I'm an intuitive melanated life coach, right? And I certify life coaches, and I coach people who are looking to discover their destiny and understand their purpose and learn how to have a deep personal relationship with God that's outside of religion and all the stuff that church has told us that God was, and that's not really God. So anyway, in that process, one of the things that people I coach do is I ask them to talk to God and develop a relationship. Like, how do you want God to talk to you? Because this be the thing. Okay. We be doing a lot of talking, we collectively. Right. We want to be like, y'all. I'm trying to be a close. No, we all. But we be doing a lot of talking at God, right? God, I need this. God, I want that. God, thank you for this. Da 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 da. But most times when I ask people how God talks to them, they be like, "What you mean? What?" Which the whole point of these emojis and the whole point of establishing stuff like this came out of I asked God to send me emails because I be tripping, and I know I be tripping. Okay, so I'm like, listen, I need you to be clear because. Like just plain and simple. Like I need you to be clear, right? So I was like, can you just send me an email? No, like I have got pop-ups. I I have like real life emails about things that I prayed about, like all that, right? So it happens. So it's the thing. So anyway, so in our deciding of our emojis and stuff, that's another way that God communicates with us. That these symbols will show up at times to give a message, right? Unless I'm not gonna do no shade. So let me tell y'all about my emojis. So let me tell you about my emojis. So my emojis are the sunflower. My favorite color is yellow, and it represents the sun, joy to me, boldness. Y'all see I have my yellow glasses. So sunflowers is something that resonates with me. And even last night, I had sat down at the table and the screen, not the screen, what's it called? The phone case that the lady had that was sitting next to me.
Oh, yeah. Stop it.
No lie.
Look out.
No lie. So, but
having so much fun.
we did have a good time. So my emoji is sunflower, and then my other emoji is a crayon because I am coloring the fuck out of my life. I was in this place where everything was very black and white, and there was just this void of color. I've been through a lot in the past year plus. And now I'm like, I want color. So those are my emojis.
So my emojis, well, first, my emojis are ladybugs, which I love, and they are a symbol of good luck, prosperity, growth, all of the things that I am trying to guide my life around at the moment, right? As I was getting ready for this move, when I tell you ladybugs were everywhere, literal live ladybugs, when I was in the middle of a freaking crying snot and breakdown on my porch, a little ladybug came in and like landed on the gutter and was like, girl, you're gonna be all right. And I was talking to someone who was helping me to make it be all right. So it was just confirmation for what was already happening. I've seen them in my house. They're just everywhere. It's a lovely thing. Now you can sometimes question when these signs show up, because you may think, oh, I saw a ladybug, that's for me. Then you realize, oh wait, that person just puts ladybugs on everything they do. So is it for me? So if she was trying to be shady, I'm just saying, sometimes you have to ask a question and you use the power of discernment and determine. Maybe you wait for the answer and find out if that was in fact your sign. My other one is a cobalt blue heart, because cobalt blue is my absolute favorite color. If you don't know it, think of that super deep, rich blue glass. That is the color cobalt that I'm talking about. Almost leans to purple, but it's really deep blue. And it's just, I'm really looking for love, to give love, to find love that can be truly just out loud, that I don't have to question and decipher. Jesus, please own the man.
So, there are clearly some things that are not being said.
Oh,
right.
Well, let's
talk
about
it. But this is what I was going to say. It's because it's some other conversation that we really want to have with y'all, but we can't really have those here on the open internet.
Right.
So we also want to guide you all towards our Patreon. Okay, Minding My Black Ass Business on Patreon. Because that's where we're going to be talking about many things, such as dating and
like. Now we do have some requirements from you and things that you can expect from us. Us just knowing that we don't have the answers to everything. We don't purport to be experts. Now we are experts in individual fields that we possess on our own, but we're not experts in everything. So we are going through this life just like you are. So feel free, pop down in the comments, ask any questions, ask us to explore anything that we've talked about. What we look for from you is that engagement, being willing to follow along with us on this journey and participate. You know, it's like, hey, it really touched me when you said this, or this really meant a lot. We've been getting people to reach out to us, sharing that, and it really does help. It helps us as well, because sometimes the biggest part is we don't talk about these things that are giving us these charges. And when you have someone else kind of chime in and say, hey, that resonated with me, it really makes it feel a little bit better. We're not alone. So thank you for that. So just stay engaged with us, like, comment, subscribe, share by all means. Each one share at least 5 with 5 people, not that many. We go live
definitely every other week, but it might be more every week, y'all, because so much stuff is happening
so quickly.
Yes. So we do have a comment. I wanted to read this. This is from Blue Wednesday 86. They said, I've been seeing ladybugs everywhere and having tiny little misty-eyed moments.
Oh, I forget which one this is, and then this one, and then this one, all the appropriate parts.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So y'all can talk to us in the comments. Okay, when we're looking at our phones, that's what we're looking at to make sure. And just having said that, so we are live on Facebook. But honestly, if you're watching over on Facebook, we are going to be phasing off of Facebook just onto YouTube. And I want to let you know that's where the chat really be popping over on YouTube. Okay, so govern yourselves accordingly. If you like, where the people at? Who they talking about? They over on YouTube. All right, so come hang out with us over there. Minding My Black Ass Business is the name of the page. All right. I think that's enough. Okay. What?
I didn't say it. I was ready. I'm sorry. That was my bad. You know what?
Jimmy, Robert.
I prejudged. Let me sit.
See, that's why I had played that song before we got started. So last week, so you've been here just short of 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks tomorrow? Okay. So catch the people up. I don't know if we said this, y'all. We in Medellín. Did we say that?
I don't think we did. Medellín.
In South America.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been here since 2022. But I left the US in 2021 and I spent some time in Mexico, Playa del Carmen for a little bit, but mostly Mexico City. So then I moved here and I've been trying to get my cousin to get here since forever. Okay. She finally got here 2 weeks ago. So last week you had gave us like your initial impression. You had gone to the cigar bar and all that kind of stuff and whatever. So I'm just interested in how you would describe this week, or like what are the
things. So now with the second week, it's really been just like, what is day-to-day life? Because people reach out, and I think I talked about this a little bit last week. They're like, oh, what'd you do? Where'd you go? What's going on? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm not on vacation, y'all. Like, I'm not seeing all of Medellin in 2 weeks. So some of the stuff may be kind of few and far between. But what I'm noticing is there are stories in that day-to-day, what happened yesterday, little conversation. What did your frolic down the hill to the plaza look like? What did you encounter? So you'll start to see me sharing a little bit more about that. But yeah, I got to do that. I went on to the solo walk. I texted Kim. I'm like, hey, I'll be back. Just went out into the world. And I just walked around, saw what was happening. Like I said, we went to the cigar bar, just trying to find like what my places are here. I had a very established kind of network of where I would go in New Orleans, and I want to do that here too. Started meeting more people and just kind of being open to different events and like networking. Kim oftentimes has to like remind me, like, girl, get their number, find out what their WhatsApp is.
Get on the WhatsApp. Listen, so if y'all are in the States and you're watching this, people don't really use WhatsApp in the US, right? But the entire rest of the world, WhatsApp is where it's at. So you have to like communicate with the people. Like, I'd be like, did you get their information? It's like, oh, this is a great conversation. And they did this and they did that and such and so. And did you get
so no. But I will now. I was like, stick with me, baby bird. Like, I'm gonna get that. I really, really am. We went to the mall. We got our nails done. Got our feet done. It was a great time. Way less expensive than it is at home. Side note, love that. But like just the artistry involved with everything that I've had done, from getting my hair cut to getting my nails done, being involved with people who are truly passionate about their craft, it's really cool to see. And it's just nice to actually be around it, and that they do the same thing, because we're like, oh, well, let me see your page. So when I did finally network with them and get their information, we realized that they didn't have any of their nail art on their webpage.
Nothing.
You didn't even know they did nails. And we're like, what you doing? You gotta put your pictures on here. So just kind of getting to do that, getting to meet new people, practicing my Spanish, or you getting really good at getting to my Google Translate as fast as possible. It is possible to do that, so don't ever let language barriers be the other issue that you don't make moves or changes to different places, because there's still multiple ways to communicate. So don't let that be a barrier. But it is definitely a hurdle to get over. I'm not gonna say it's not. What else? I went to the pool yesterday. So we talked about looking for the signs and seeing things and talking to God and like waiting for the answers. So I go to the pool. It's like completely overcast. It's hot because here we don't have AC, right? But it feels great all the time. And then all of a sudden, maybe like for an hour or two, you go, it's a little hotter than I would like. It's not terrible, but it's just like, oh, I don't know. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the pool. So I said, okay, I get ready, I go down to the pool, and I get there. There's no sun shining where the pool is, right? So it's actually cooler down there than it was up here. So I get in the water's warm, feels great, it's awesome. I'm laying on my back floating, and I look up, and there's like this little rainbow just floating around. And then you can also see like the outline of the moon coming up. And it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was just beautiful. So I'm laying there and I'm just talking to God, doing the normal, thank you for this. I appreciate it. Forgive me for being stupid. One thing I always find really, really comforting is that when God sets up your purpose, He takes into consideration your stupidity. So I think that's the one saving grace that I have. If you know,
ma'am, you gonna stop talking, ma'am. I'm not gonna keep letting it happen.
Not in the intelligence,
ma'am.
I'm not saying that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so he and I had a little conversation, and what I learned. And I've used this before, especially in sales. I was in sales for a lot of years in a lot of different places. But it's the power of the pause, and people use it in different
I saw something about that yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you send it?
I don't think so. Okay. But yeah, it's the power of the pause. So in sales, the power of the pause is, you build a relationship, find out whatever it is about the person that you need to meet their needs. And then once you kind of figure out a solution or something that you think is going to be good for them, you present it to them, and then you wait. Because the inclination is to fill the space, but you wait. And then they will eventually ask the question to get you closer to where you need to be, or they'll answer your question so you can get closer to where you need to be. So just allowing that silence to happen a lot of times gives them a chance to kind of frame what they really need from you, and then you get the truest response instead of just, oh, well, let me jump in, they must need more information. Let me tell them about this. But that may not be anything that they actually care about. So you take that pause, and then they actually tell you. So what I learned is I need to use the power of pause when I'm talking to God. It's like, okay, let me ask the question and then like actually listen and wait and see what's happening around me. And you'll be surprised at what pops up for you. And we've been talking about like different gifts and things and just how to develop that. And for me, I think that was my very first step, was utilizing a tool that I've often had and used for many different things, but just in how I look at what the next steps are.
This is so interesting. It's interesting on so many levels because first of all, I've never necessarily heard of the power of pause.
Okay.
I definitely had not heard of it in the context of sales.
Okay.
So that's cool to know that that's the thing. But in education, we call it wait time. So remember, I was talking to you, I would ask you questions, and you were like, man,
You
asked some great questions. You really be waiting on an answer. And I was like, my wait time is stellar.
Right.
It's stellar. Like, yeah.
I want you to answer me.
I want to answer, so I'm waiting. But it's so funny because many times, I hate this. I talk about this all the time. Is when people are like, "How you doing?" and then
Just walk away.
all right, like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about the culture here. So they have a thing, and it happens in the US too, but they have a thing where it's like, hola, buen dia, right? Buenos dias. Okay. And then it's like, how are you? Right. But they don't really care. It's not a real question. Because if you ask them, like, and so you might feel your whole guts up.
Right.
It's like, oh, today is da 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 da, right? So then you say, and you, and they say, bien, gracias a Dios. That's the answer all the time. And that is something for me when I tell you it. Have y'all seen Inside Out before? When the little anger man be like, now you get it.
Now I get it.
Right?
Sorry.
That's how I be feeling on the inside because one of my pet peeves is to ask someone how they are doing and not actually pause to get an authentic answer. It's just a part of this procedure, right? And it's something that I don't need it. Okay. Just in case anybody
Just
was
say
like,
hey.
I don't just say hey.
If you ask me how I'm doing, I'm expecting that we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna have a conversation here. But that is not the case.
Is not often the case.
And that's even just the hello in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, hello, how you doing? And keep on walking. Which is
it burns my biscuits. It burns my biscuits to the core. But yeah, so anyway, so the power of the pause. And I really like that. I think I saw something on Instagram and it was alluding to the power of the pause just being and stilling yourself for a moment. But it's kind of what you're talking about as well. Because that's when you can hear what God is saying. Because if I'm steady talking, how is I'm also listening? I'm not.
I got 2 years.
And one. So, interesting. So you had mentioned you were like, y'all gonna say a little bit more about that. Tell me about content Talanda, girl.
Oh my goodness.
Out here doing content. Y'all.
Okay.
Making reels and such.
The vulnerable moments. I'm not that person. I don't think. Okay, so look, if I go out somewhere, you will typically not find me with my phone. Like, I want to be in it. I probably don't have a lot of pictures from it because I was there. Like, that was me, right? Now I've realized it's probably more important for me to be able to share what is happening to me so I don't have to have the same conversation 15 times.
That is.
So if I get really good at taking those pictures and capturing those moments, then I'd be able to put that in a little package to get out to people to be like, hey, look, this is what I was doing, this is what I saw, like these are my thoughts. Your girl had been absent, to say the least. I enjoy social media. Like I have
As a consumer.
I just did not create content. I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have TikTok, I have Pinterest, I have X, I have all the things. I probably have a cake somewhere back in there from 100 years ago. Like I don't even know. I still have a Tumblr. Don't go look. But I realized probably about 6 years ago was probably the last time I was truly active on social media. And a lot has changed since 2018 or 2019. So if you ever when you look at my social media, you'll see there's a very big gap from like 2018 or 2019 to 2 days ago. So if you go to those places, i.e. Instagram or Facebook, you'll see 2 new reels that I put up there. Did them all by myself. Felt so proud. And let me tell you,
Tell people the handles so they could go find them.
so on Instagram, it is Kawana Bear, KAWAN as in Nancy, ABEAR, Kawana Bear. That's me. And on Facebook, it's just funny, Kalonda Jackson. Yeah. Everything's private.
Don't Nancy and nothing.
And
It's exclusive.
it's exclusive access.
Yeah,
There we go.
I like that.
So you let me know if you want to peek into what's happening around in those parts. And I will get better at responding because I did have someone go, I did have to follow you. But sure enough, 4 days ago, there was a little alert that was like, hey. I'm like, oh my bad. That's all me. So yes, Content Kalanda is being born. She is being born. We talked about the crocheting and doing these things. So I have ordered the supplies. They are on the way. So hopefully mid-week, I should get everything in and then be able to start some of that. So you'll be able to look forward to some content regarding that and just some time with me to talk about how I got there in the first place.
I'm so excited about that. And also, so we about to be crafting cousins up
Yes.
here. It might also be
Look at it.
Y'all see how we do that?
Let me just write it down while we're in here.
But also, if you don't be having a notebook with you, have you a notebook or some kind of, or if you're electronic and you got your Apple Notes or your Google Notes or whatever, but have something to write stuff down because you'll see, like, we looking at things because God be talking, right? But to the crafty peasant, I am gonna start painting again. I haven't the last time. Some of y'all don't even know. They're like, "Girl, you paint." So I am an abstract artist. I use acrylic paint as my medium of choice right now. I feel like that might be expanding, but I went and bought a canvas the other day. I have my paint so I can mix my colors. So we're gonna be crafting up in here because that is also another way to process what's happening, right? So Kalanda will show y'all her mood blanket and I'll be able to show y'all the progress of my art. And I had bought some dirt the other day.
Ooh.
So we're gonna plant some new things. Because a big part of healing, I think, is understanding the growth process. Mm-hmm. When I had planted so I have onions, cilantro, and rosemary out on my balcony. And when I had planted it at first, there's still, for some reason, always a part of me like, I don't know if this really gonna grow. I know
I always feel like that.
Just put the dirt, put the seeds, and water it, and put it in the sun, and then it's supposed to do its thing. So it's always very miraculous, for lack of a better way to put it, to me, when I actually start to see the growth, because something is happening. Right, even though I can't see it. Right. And it has become kind of like a meditative type of situation. Because baby, them plants I got, they was on their last leg.
And they're thriving. They're thriving. There's something thriving that she doesn't even know what it is.
So in my mind, I was like, I'm about to do the hood composting. Right. So I have all of these like water bottles and things, and I was like, let me use these to plant, to garden, because why am I gonna go buy pots when I got containers? So I was composting as well because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make me some rich nutrient, so the green and the brown and the organic matter and whatever. So I just put it in there. But then what had happened was a lot of fruit flies were coming because some of the organic matter was like banana peels and stuff, right? So then I just left it closed because I didn't feel like dealing with the fruit flies. So it's just been closed. It's a whole plant that is growing. I'm talking leaves is pretty.
Right.
I don't even know what it is.
We have no clue.
But it is thriving. Okay, got a little terrarium.
Magic terrarium.
Because listen, so anyway, I feel like there's a message in all of that, right? So that's kind of where we are in our crafting and processing of life and all of the things that are happening right now. Yeah.
It's a very good introspective time. And I think both of us have been very intentional. And I love being here, being able to see you in your moment. Because then it's like, okay. Because we say this a lot, it's a process. And everybody's in a different spot on your path, on your process. So being able to see that is also nice to know, like, okay, I can get to the point where I don't say I don't know when, or honor like my feelings and what I really want, and just really focusing on what I need. Because I think Kim do that for herself fearlessly with no apologies and none are needed, and just really adopting that curiosity over judgment. So I'm super, super happy to be here to do that and get to do this with my cousin.
Love it. So we have a question which kind of goes along with that. And this question says, it's from Julio Caesar. He said, why would you want to stay in Medellín when paisas, which are people who are from this area, want to leave?
Oh.
And I think that is a valid question. And I think it's also a question that people ask us about the U.S. as well.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to leave there when everybody is rushing across the border? This is the thing for me, and I would love to hear your perspective having been here. First of all, Colombia is the place, Medellin specifically, is the place that I decided to leave the U.S. I came here in April of 2021, and I was in the middle of just Twilight Zone. If things have been a lot, if y'all have not been following my story, if you go to my Black Ass Business on YouTube, I've done like a 7-part series about what was happening in school improvement in Pennsylvania and what led me to leave and all of that. But very, very long story short, it was hella racist and traumatic. So one of my friends suggested that I take a trip. And Medellin is the place that they would come to get centered. So I came and I met some women who were living here, some Black women from the US, and they were like, why are you still there in the US? And I was like, I do not know. Medellin is the first place that I felt like I could just be. My former life in the US, I like to call it, I lived a life of higher visibility. I had a talk show for 6 years. I have been on the internet since forever. So there are way more people who know me than I know them. I also had a lot of leadership positions and all that kind of stuff in the district. So it was a lot. When I was here, it was the first time that I could just be present with myself. And I didn't have to feel like, oh, you might run into so-and-so in the grocery store. You might run into a former student, a parent, a colleague, blah, blah. Like there was a lot of pressure to be on stage, ready, on, and all of that. And my life at the time was shifting to a place where I needed to be more on with me. As we can see, I didn't really listen for real. So, yeah. But,
a couple times before it sticks.
And
you got there.
I did, and I was about to say the win in that is being able to recognize it sooner. If you can recognize it sooner, that is progress. But that was the first time that I ever felt like I could just be. So that was the first reason. But then I told you I spent some time in Mexico Mexico City, and I love Mexico City. I had an amazing network there and everything. But Mexico City became really loud. It became like a sensory overload. It was just a lot that was going on the whole time. And also in hindsight, I now see that God was like, "Hey sis, remember I had told you that you need to just go be, and you out here frolicking and such and so. I need you to sit down for a moment, since I got some things I need to tell you." So when I came here again in December of 2022, I could feel the healing energy here. Medellín is the city of eternal springs, so it's incredibly green. The weather is always spring, so it's really, really beautiful. People have a respect for nature here. Like we went to the mall.
Wall. Yes. Oh, it was a beautiful wall. And they put like, I forget the material, but like just plain thing material. We established I'm not that good at plants. But they made pockets and put each like just a flower, a leaf, something to beautify the area on what have otherwise would have just been concrete. And like they do it all throughout. And so you're just walking and you're like, oh, that's beautiful. And then it's attracting the butterflies and all the things that go with it. So you can definitely see the respect for nature here, or even at the mall where it was built around. So there's a part where there's a stream that goes through this mall, right? At home, they would have completely tore out everything, just got rid of everything, then built it back up, and then put in a man-made stream in the middle of the mall. Here, they actually honored the stream that was already there and built the mall around it. And so it was just little things like that go to show you kind of the thought and intention of building this place.
Yeah. So that is why Medellin for me. And what the reason I was going to also say is I think it's interesting to look at the place that you live with a different set of eyes. We can often get very desensitized to the beauty of how someone else can find beauty in something that we are trying to escape or something that we are considering to be normal. So for instance, you know, people in New York, I think I said this before last week, like people in New York have never been to the Statue of Liberty or never went to the Empire State Building or like looked at the place that you live through the eyes of someone who may have been there for the first time. Where would you take them to show them the beauty of the place that you are, right? And if that place is not beautiful to you and it's not bringing your spirit joy, where is the place that is going to bring your spirit joy, right? For me, it's the green. I love it. It just makes me so happy inside. So yeah. So how do you? I was talking about.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I chose Medellin was an interesting choice because you were already here, so it wasn't I didn't have that initial connection to it outside of, hey, girl. So I think it's time. And she was like, what, for real? I'm like, yeah, I think it's time. I'm ready to go. And for me, I had actually selected Bali as where the place that I felt was calling. That it's just the land of smiles, even though a lot of the area around is Muslim, Bali itself is Hindu. So just a real appreciation for humanity and just education of where we come from and how we interact with the world. And there's a beach. I am a beach girl.
I hate the beach.
Cannot do.
I don't like sand.
She can't do it, right? So I feel oppressed because because Colombia, which you did not mention, is very hilly. So you'll be walking, turn a corner, and then you have to hike up a mountain. So I can't just have my cute little flip flops on. So I now have to live in hiking shoes. Okay, it might not be hiking shoes. All right, I might be exaggerating a little bit. But I have to have the toes covered is the point. You do. Okay. So I'm learning. I'm learning to not let that be the blockage of the blessing. All right. Take the good with the bad. But I know that the messaging I got when I would finally share with people that I was leaving would often be
Y'all, hold on, y'all. Something happened. That was so weird. Is it back? Is it back? Okay. That was so weird. What that was. But thank y'all for still being here. That was so interesting. Okay. The computer just went black while we were sitting here. But thank y'all for waiting. It's 20 people. It was
Like, and what
there
happened? So, like I was saying, when I would tell people, and I finally was telling people, like, hey, I'm leaving, a lot of the messaging was like, you're going to leave the United States. And I have friends that are, from other countries as well that have moved to the United States and live here now. And they were like, well, why don't you just, just go try it? Come on, don't give away all your belongings. Don't sell your whole life. Like, why don't you put it in storage? And I was just like, I can't plan to fail at that. Like, I don't want to put all my stuff aside thinking, okay, if this doesn't work, I still have something to come back to. I need to trust in myself in this process because that's really the biggest thing that I'm working on for me is trusting myself. And I need to trust myself to be good at learning who I am and celebrating the rest of this new life that I've been given. So I say to them, look, yes, there are things about America that are familiar, but that doesn't make them good. So that I understand in kind of keeping people from making the move, because it wasn't enough anymore. And after being told, oh, you're going to go to these countries, you're not going to have access to medical care, and do they have clean water? And it's just the way that we've been taught that America is the best, and anywhere outside of it is an underdeveloped country that has no hope and needs us to save it if we're coming. It doesn't really promote the thought of, hey, there are other places that have figured out these infrastructures, and that maybe if you go and be open, you'll learn something to make your life better. It's more from the standpoint of, oh, we need to go help them. They don't need our help. They've been doing perfectly fine without us. As a matter of fact, they wonder why the hell we here. So, but yeah, so it was just really saying, oh, I want to go see something else. I want to meet the new me. And I think I can do that in a place where I'm also learning about that place, And it was just interesting to see the amount of fear that people had that they directed at me for me leaving. So why Colombia? Why Medellín? It just represents a clean start. It represents an opportunity for me. The people here are so welcoming, amazing, and they really do just. They'll tell you like, "Oh my God, I wanna go to America. I want the American dream." And I'm like, "Hey, hold on,
that ain't real.
Hold on." So I hate to break it to you. Not a real thing. And I think through a lot of different ways we could highlight that. People tell you go to school, get a college degree, get married, buy a house, have some children, get some cars, send them to private school, buy. And all of that is just done to fuel outside entities that are not you. It's go to school so you can become an employee for someone else. Go to school so you can spend this money on this education, and now you owe these loans back. So the government is stable. It's buy this house. So again, you're going into this long-term debt. even though, right, home buying is for some. It's just not for everybody. I'll put it that.
Yeah.
And we have people who have put themselves into corners that they can't get out of because they felt that they had to buy a house or they had to have property. They had to buy these things.
Or they feel like a failure because they haven't been, because they're still renting.
Right.
Because we become very elitist. And I can definitely say that as we, including me.
Right.
Because I had lived a very judgmental and very elitist thinking life of this is what you need to have in order to be the best person or to be successful or whatever. And there are so many avenues because success is so subjective.
Exactly.
And like the idea, I remember being in Tampa and I was thinking, so mind you, at the time I had a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath house, right? We know I don't like bathrooms. Why do I have 3 of them? Who's really got everything, right? But that was way more than enough for me. But my dream at the time was I want a bigger house. I want to have a room that's a closet, and I want to have a movie theater, and I want to have a pool, and I want for why?
Right.
For why? And it's like as I started peeling back the layers of why do I want these things, I stopped wanting those things and really started thinking about what are the things that I actually want,
right,
that actually bring me joy. And that's a question that we've been asking often. And it is an enduring question of what brings us joy. Like, so y'all tell us in the comments, what brings you joy? And if you don't know, that's your homework. Okay, figure out what brings you joy, because that's where freedom lives. That's where what I saw the other day, it said, you remember I said something, read something out loud, and it said, like, find your passion or something so you can stop having an attitude.
So you can stop having an attitude. How many times do you go somewhere where this person is at work and they are surly? They are surly, mean and surly. But you know it's not like, dude, I didn't come to your house.
Like the lady at McDonald's.
Man. Stop it. We want to McDonald's. Don't. And for the questions that I'm sure someone's gonna ask, it's the same, yes.
Except
a couple of things. So I ordered a large fry and some nuggets and a Coke, right? A medium Coke. So a large fry, medium Coke, and then they had the sauce for the nuggets. So it said spicy sauce. So I was like, oh, I wonder if that's buffalo, because other side note, in Medellín, there's not a lot of spicy.
They don't like spice here.
So you don't find spicy stuff often. So it said spicy sauce. So I was like, okay, maybe that's buffalo. I'm willing to take that back. Cool. So we order our stuff. We get it. We open the bag. Like, okay, can we get some ketchup? Because we got 2 large.
There's no ketchup. Now, first of all, I go to this McDonald's all the time, and they at least give me 2 packs of ketchup on a large fry. Okay. No ketchup in the bag. Nothing. Okay.
Right.
Permiso, señorita. Yo necesito ketchup, por favor. It was like
appalled. One.
So I said, compramos dos fritas largas, más ketchup, por favor.
Okay.
One more. She gave us 2 ketchup for 2 large fries. She was not happy with it
at all. So then we go to walk away, and we realize there's no straws in the bag. All Kim said was, excuse me, and she goes, and she's reaching for the straws, because she knows she didn't give us straws. But why do you have an attitude with us about needing something from you that you did not provide? We need
because if you want to get me whatever
anything to you. And here's the thing. You're at work. I didn't go to your house and ask you to give me I don't ask you to get out of your bed, out of your comfy bed, put some slippers on, go in the kitchen, dig around in the everything drawer and find me a straw. I didn't do that.
She was
That
not.
was at your place of work where you hand out straws. That's what you do. Anyway,
She was not. She really wasn't.
so all that to say, she needs to find her passion so she can stop being having an attitude. That's what it is. She's doing something that clearly does not bring her joy. She is not happy about it, and it's leaking all over everything.
Right.
And it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So, like, think back for you.
I love that.
Where you in your life just leaking attitude all over?
Ooh, girl.
Not what you want to do.
You better preach. You better preach to the kids.
You
So I want to transition just a little bit because I want to tell you about something that brings me joy. That absolutely is going to move us into our segment.
Okay.
So we do have segments, y'all.
Yes.
But sometimes it's been, anyway,
You know.
we got segments. This is new.
Okay.
So, remember I had told you about the socks I had on?
Yes.
I got them on.
She's like, I'm
Let
learning.
me tell you about these socks. Do you see this?
That's
This is, y'all, I put these socks on, and it's these socks supportive. On the inside, they got the little rubber grip, so it stays on your ankle. Let me tell you something. These are good socks. These are some good socks. Oh,
we just leaning further inside here. I'm also, while we're not here,
yes.
I'm also in my caftan era. If you're like, what the hell is a caftan? Some people will refer to them as moo.
I like the caftan.
I'm a fan of the caftan personally. Feels like, you know, I'm a lady at leisure. Hang out and sit by the pool at the resort. It's been so comfortable. And it's so cute.
It's a lot of walls up in the room. So where we at? Was the next one? Was that?
Yeah, I was
okay.
going to the mall.
So we get back from the mall and everything, right? So I'm like, okay, let's talk about some things to watch, something or something. And then I had changed. So I was like, we did a wardrobe change. I was like, outside clothes on the bed and all that kind of stuff. Which also I used to didn't do that, but now it's definitely a thing. So I was like, oh yeah. So she was like, oh, okay. So she goes in the room and turns into a goddess. Walks up in the room just flowing. You walk down the room. Walk down and do it again. Because I had to get the moment on the camera. Girl, the child.
You need to be like, so feel free. I don't know if it's something that you get like before you get your AARP card, you get this joy to need to be in the mood. Like, I think it's okay. It's on your path.
Yeah.
If you haven't gotten that, it's on the way, and enjoy it. Because it's a good time.
Listen, I was like, I need to get my shit together because I clearly have been living a subpar. I need to get it together. So anyway, the reason we bring that up is because we have a segment that we want to introduce to y'all called Ask an Auntie. We are aunties, and it just keeps landing on me so heavily when I'm talking to my interns and like talking to young people and having to explain stuff.
Right.
Like, well, we didn't have social media when I was in high school, barely in college. Right. Like, we was dialing up to the internet. Like, we had to go on MapQuest in order to find your directions, right? And as I'm explaining it, they're like, I couldn't imagine. I'm like, shut up.
They're disgusted.
Shut up. Okay. But also, we're accepting that we are aunties, okay? So, in the Ask an Auntie segment, we gonna give y'all some advice. So y'all can also leave things in the comments for the Ask an Auntie section. Y'all can email us at mindingmyblackbusiness@gmail.com. Just put Ask an Auntie in the subject line so that we can get your questions, situations, what have you, and we're going to give you our auntie advice. Okay? All right. So You got them.
Okay, so first question. What would you do? Okay, 40-year-old male husband. I've been together for 2 decades, and he wants nothing to do with me, 39-year-old female, because he found out I had sex in a car with an ex more than 20 years ago. What would you do?
So is the car the
The issue.
is it that it was in the car?
It doesn't. But it's driving him insane right now. And he wants nothing to do with her.
Been married for 20 years
20 years.
because she had sex in the car 20 years ago
Within
before him. So what's the question?
What would you do?
I really think this is why I'm not married. I really don't. Stop talking to me. But go on your side of the house. When you finish being mad, child,
Try again.
try. I'm not doing
Would you tell me what you're really mad about?
right.
Because this can't be it.
That's why I said it's the car. But you know what I've also discovered recently? Let me come to what I don't discover that these people exist out here. Is people that often of the male persuasion, but not exclusively. People be on some kind of purity type, but it be selective outrage because you out here going and you want me to be pure. I'm gonna my ass in a circle. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? Let me tell you what I'm gonna make you block me. I'm gonna go do all sorts of things outside.
In your face.
I'm about to be on the balcony in my drawers. I'm about to put, matter of fact, I'm going on OnlyFans. And I'm throwing my ass in the circle on OnlyFans. Okay? Because what?
Like, what do you do?
You that bothered? Okay. No worries.
Not the past.
What would you do?
Oh my God. I mean, you have to build a bridge to get over. Because it has no bearing on our current relationship. So now, in my mind, that all the flips is like, why are you saying that that's what you're mad about? Like, it's got to be something else. Like, okay, if you just want to start a fight, then just start the fight. Like, but don't bring up something about 20 years ago that had nothing to do with anything. Because I don't know what you did before I met you, and nor do I care.
I was going to say, and don't care.
You know what I mean? And because, but like, why does that have a bearing on things? And why is it that we're expected to enter into these relationships as nurturing, loving beings that have had no contact with anyone else? How do you think she learned how to do that thing you like? Because she did it before. Just,
you know what? This is why I love the young people right now, like Chloe and Halle Chloe and Halle Bailey are two of my favorite young folks, along with like Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla. Like, I feel like even though I'm not a fan per se, and I don't listen to her music, saturated, but I get it.
Right.
I really commend them for being like, I don't care what the hell y'all talking about. This is my body. And let me tell you something. Because I wasted my 20s.
You know what I'm saying? If I was as fat as I was when I was younger now,
I wasted it because I was trying to be a good Christian. Because I equated this false concept of purity and modesty and being all buttoned up as being a good Christian, being a good person. Let me tell you something. I would be bucket ass naked every day, ass all over the internet. You hear me? Girls got bodies. We're all over.
It's beautiful.
It is.
It's beautiful. And I hate to see when people are like, oh my gosh, she shouldn't do that. That's not her image. It's like, why? Why not? She's 20. And if you decided in your 20s, that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm gonna be, and when I'm in my 40s, I'm not gonna do that no more. Fine.
Yeah.
It's all you. It's all honoring you. At some point, you were a hoe, like to throw it back.
I definitely was a hoe around 20. It was probably around 20. Let me see when I played. I got to college. It was that junior year. You understand me?
Look, you just embrace it. Because it's what makes you you. And some people, there are some people out there that's their gift, okay? And that may sound weird, but there's connection in that. And that may be how they relate to people. It may not be how you relate to people. It may not be how you would recommend people to go out and do that. But understand that for some people, that is their language. And you kind of, I don't know, because I get really irritated when people try to tell young women or women, period, what is an acceptable way to express their sexuality. Like, whatever that is, whatever spectrum it's on, like any of those things, it's no one else's business. Yes, of course, you can have an opinion about it, that's your business. Your opinion of me has nothing to do with me. That's not my concern. So, whatever it is. But if I get to go out there, live my life, do my thing, like I am going to be a joy to be around.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you want me to do that? Now, it's all just responsibility and respectability
and being safe
and safe, and you know, keep all those asterisks in mind, keep your head on a swivel, all those things. But it's just always interesting that if a woman were to go out and do those things and just say, hey, hell away with it, I want to be with whoever I want to be with. This is what makes me happy. And a man was out to go out to do the same thing. He's given a pass, right. And it's seen as acceptable. Somebody sent me a video where they likened it to washing hands. So they were like, if a man goes out and is with multiple women, then he's washing his hands in multiple bowls. So
okay.
one bowl, the chick from the bars, the other bowl, you know, whatever. But if a woman is out there, it's multiple people washing their hands in the same bowl. So this is her bowl, and this is her husband, this is her boyfriend, this is her lashes done. And they're all washing their hands in this one bowl. And I'm like,
that's interesting.
It's an interesting visual. I mean, I appreciate the visual and the thought process behind it. However, it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. I've even heard where people will say, well, it's different because men have to enter a woman, and that's more intimate. Okay. To have someone inside you. Okay. And I'm like, so it's not intimate to be inside somebody. Like, I don't think you can get more intimate than that. Like, when you really, really like your boyfriend, all you want to do is be in his skin. Right. I just want to get as close to you as I possibly can. Yeah. And y'all can do that. So it's just the hypocrisy.
And that's how I adopted the curiosity over judgment, because to me, it's more interesting or more powerful, if you will, for someone to be able to articulate why they are making particular choices. Right. Than for me to be like, you're a bad person and you're going to hell with gasoline draws on, which is what I did for the first half of my life. Was I condemned everybody to hell? You understand me? Y'all was all going to hell. But the hypocrisy of it all is, if we don't say it's sin, then sin's supposed to be sin, and it doesn't matter. Interesting. So to any young people and or older people who might be watching this show, have agency over your body and be around people who can respect the agency that you have to make the best choices for yourself, because it is your life, right? And there are consequences, good and bad, that come along with everything that we choose to do. But that is your decision for how you choose to show up in your life. What's the
So. Okay. So I 27 male, took a girl, 24 female. I was dating for 6 months. To a concert last night to see one of our favorite artists. She did not communicate that she was trying to get closer to the stage, and did not come back until the concert was done. Was her behavior acceptable?
It's so funny. I have to tell you a story about what I did.
Nope. Let's see.
He took me to see Drew Hill. What? You're close. No joke. The crowd. I rubbed all his shirt. It was for my birthday. My birthday is on Valentine's Day, y'all. So it was for my birthday. I'm taking you to go see Drew Hill. Okay. So we watching is probably Brownstone, Joe.
Okay.
And let's
Gone.
go. The entire time. The entire time. Front row, sweat dripping. Yeah. Yes. I mean,
So did he express any concern?
he felt the fucking way.
Okay. And how did you know that?
I don't know that he felt the fucking way. It was like, there, you just left me.
Sometimes they're not always vocal.
No, he was like, there, you just left me like for the whole concert. I was like, it was Drew Hill.
Like you brought me here.
You thought.
I thought that's what we were doing.
You thought I had the opportunity to see my favorite artist, and I was gonna sit back here on row in when I could be at the stage. Are you kidding? Why would you even make me have that choice?
Or just why weren't you next to me? Why?
You ain't come? Because you knew I was gonna be down there. Love these people. Why would you put me in this position?
So her behavior was acceptable. The latter, of course.
In hindsight, I would do it again. It was
She would apologize on this internet. I don't think so.
I would absolutely do it again. It was Drew Hill. He was my favorite artist in the whole wide world.
Thank you.
I would absolutely do it again.
So why is it that we think, this is always my thing. I tell people, I tell you all the time, I'm like, oh, it's like when you give a gift. Once I give it to you, I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
You can set that shit on fire and throw it away.
Yeah.
That's between you and your item. I'm like, whatever. Because I know the spirit that I gave you. Right? So why not just be like, hey, I got you tickets. We're going to see Drew Hill. Why not be like, damn, that was a good gift. Look how much she's enjoying it. Let me get down there and enjoy it with her. Because that would be where I would be coming from.
I feel like that's a common thought.
No?
No.
You're like, what do you do? Like, let's get as close as possible. Like,
Yeah.
see if we can't get back there.
I think the additional. We should do it for nigga backstage, man. I don't fucking forget any concert. To see me come. Okay.
All the
That's in the suite.
You know?
Child, it's hey to see us coming. But I don't think that's a common way to think about things. And I think the additional injury, if you will, is that you chose them over me.
No, I chose to enjoy this experience in the way that I wanted to enjoy this experience. And
Yeah, but I brought here for us.
Well, come on. Well, why you so it sounds like you need to catch up. I'm ready. I'm ready to enjoy. Well, you
didn't really want me to enjoy
You
it.
didn't want-
You didn't
you
want me
just-
to be at the same.
Because you could have just played Drew Hill CD and we've been at the house.
Mm. 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 What would y'all do? What y'all think?
Is it appropriate?
Yes, indeed, honey. Yes, indeed. So, y'all send in your Eskenazi scenarios, questions, what have you, and we'll give you our opinions and maybe some stories that the tip as well during that time. So, let me make sure I have my notes.
Let me see if I got everything going on over here.
Let me see. What? Well, I was about to ask you because I had mentioned earlier about the Patreon and talking about some of these dating stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask you, in whatever package that you would like to present this, what are your impressions thus far of the dating scene? Because I'm sure you've probably been asked this question of the dating scene here in Colombia. Like, what are your impressions thus far, or what have you learned by the experiences that you've had thus far that you think the people could benefit from?
So, I learned the power of asking the right questions. So, we talked about 2 powers today, if y'all keep account. Power of pause, and then the power of asking the right questions. Because when I tell you, it is the most important thing, and you wouldn't think about it because you know how you are, and you just cannot expect you out of other people. So what I can say is the people, the dating scene is there. If you're for everybody, the people here are gorgeous. Like I can't explain it enough. All of y'all that are like, oh, come visit, I should come visit, y'all should come visit. You should. Because these people are beautiful. They're beautiful. And they're very, very nice. And they'll talk to you, tell you all the things, most of the things, if you ask the right questions. I realize that I'm probably a little too trusting in certain cases. And I like to have things revealed to me as they go along instead of getting the heads up ahead of time, which in hindsight is not a good way to proceed. So don't do what I do. But yeah, I think, you may feel like you're having these conversations with people and that you're very upfront about where you are and what you want and whatever's going on or what have you. And you're getting some really good information back, right? And it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's great. Let's see where a friendship develops and go from here. And then you just never know. It may turn out that they left out a lot of information. And you can't be mad at nobody but yourself. And that's the worst part. Because you can't even go off the way you want to. Because it's like, damn, all I had to do was ask a couple simple questions. And I don't think you would have lied to me. So I just feel like you felt like, oh, I lucked out. She ain't asked. I ain't say nothing. So it's technically not a lie. It's technically not a lie. And that's the worst thing ever. So keep this in mind. Niggas will nig, even in Spanish.
I was about to say everywhere across the world. Let me tell you, y'all, I have sore
Kim just had to exile the whole city, y'all. And I am on the same train. So it is hilarious.
I have so many stories.
What are some of the questions that you asked? What would you say are some right questions?
Some of the questions interestingly enough, one of the questions that is a common question here that I didn't understand was the who you live with question. Because what I have grown to understand is because they are so communal here that people often live at home with their family or with a sibling, like not on their own. for long times, well beyond we would in the US. So that question of who do you live with, I think is an important question. Another question would not just be who do you live with, it would be whose home is it? Because I've also had conversations with people where they're like, oh, I live with my sister. So in my mind, I'm thinking shared responsibility, shared whatever, when in fact it is my sister takes care of everything and I actually just live in this room. So that's very different, especially when you're talking about people who are saying, you know, I want a future and all this, but the experiences of actually taking care of a home, like you see the trash is over, I shouldn't have to ask you to take it. You see it, don't you? Like, or like you drop something, clean it up. You know, like those types of things. I see a lot of those situations. So I think that's an important question too, of like not just who do you live with, but whose house is it, and what role do you play
in that
in the house? Right. Another good question would be, I think you have to just outright, especially if you are concerned with, not concerned, but if you care whether someone is in a relationship or not, asking outright, are you in a relationship? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a wife? Do you have a partner? Do you have
any of those things?
Yeah. Yeah.
You may think, oh no, I don't, but she might say that we are. Like,
yeah.
You should disclose that.
And so the other thing that I've, even like when someone says they want to be a friend, this is something that I have learned that, and this is in any language or any country, words mean different things to different people. So I've just found myself when someone says, you know, oh, I want to get to know you. Why? What is it that you want to get to know? Like, oh, you know, I want us to be friends. Tell me what a friend means to you. What does that look like, sounds like? Because I believe in making informed decisions and having the ability to make informed decisions. So you, like a dude asked me the other day, he was like, so what do you look for in guys? And I was like, for them to be themselves. And from there, I will decide if there is space for you in my world. And also, don't ever expect an immediate response from me because I don't even have notifications on my phone. So until you get my attention,
you're gonna be done.
It's the luck of the draw, my boy.
It's the Kim lottery for
everybody. I'm just not readily available for your consumption whenever you are ready for me to be consumed. I'm just not participating in that. So I think it's a combination of asking the questions, but more so than asking the questions, I think it is deciding what I will and will not accept. You know, for instance, I've run into a few people where accountability, and again, this is not Columbia, this is people, period, but where accountability, they don't have a good relationship with accountability. I can't be in a relationship with you in any way, shape, or form if something happens and I can't tell you about what happened, or you're gonna give me the solid treatment because you feel some type of way. Like but that's what you had did. So I can't. So what I would say, more so than focusing on the questions to ask, I think we should focus on what we actually want. And that develops, you know, that's a process. But I think that is where the empowerment lives, not necessarily in asking the right questions per se. I think it's more important to know. So when I do hear the questions, when I do hear the answers to the questions, what am I going to do? Because I still might get those answers, but if I haven't made it clear of what I am and am not going to do or what I want or whatever, there's still a misalignment here. So that's what I would say. Yeah. So if y'all want like actually seeing all the things that we're not saying, again, you're gonna have to get that on the Patreon, okay? Because we definitely need to unpack a few stories and just kind of tell y'all the things, all right? So the Patreon, again, is Minding My Black Ass Business. Please make sure that y'all have subscribed to the page, that you have liked everything. I want to make sure we didn't have any last questions. Doesn't look like it. But if you do have questions after you've been watching, please drop those in the comments, right? We are reading the comments and responding to the comments. So if there are things that you're wondering about, put it in the comments. Let us know if things have resonated with you. For instance, the power of the pause, right? If you're like, never thought about that. Or thinking about how you talk to God. Like, we dropped a few things in here. So leave with us in the comments what resonated with you, what resonated with your spirit, and all of that. Because this is a conversation and we're on this journey together. So we want to make sure that, yes, you know, you are being entertained, but also while you're being entertained, yeah, let's also get some growth out of this, right? And really think about designing lives that really do bring us joy, and not lives where we gotta have an attitude every day because we don't like it. Yeah. So tell the people again, Kalana, where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Kawanabear, Kawanabear. You can find me on Facebook with my name. You can also find me on Cash App at $Kalonda, Kalonda. Hey.
I love when you like so if y'all go to KimberlyJackson.com, if you are looking for me to do anything in the realm of the life coaching and all that kind of stuff, you can contact me over there. Again, if you are looking to do the internship and or submit things for Asking Auntie, that would be at mindinmyblack-ass-business@gmail.com. That's where you can really find me. I am living life at Minding My Black Ass Business right now as I figure out how I re-merge these two pieces of myself. So at Kimberly J is also still there, but if you want to see what's happening, Minding My Black Ass Business on all platforms. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all the things. We may or may not be back next week. I don't know. We haven't really decided our schedule, and we may start doing bonus episodes. I don't know. Y'all tell us what y'all want us to talk about. Okay, I don't know if I said that earlier, but if y'all got things that y'all like, please talk about this. Drop it in the comments. Okay, we are listening. All right, so I do have to get up to stop this. So you wanna sign out? You got a special sign out?
All right, lovelies. We love y'all. Thank y'all for spending the time with us. As always, we look forward to seeing you. Be blessed. Take time. Ask God how, or have a conversation with God, how you'd like to communicate. And remember, take the power of the pause to listen for his response. Bye.